the next one that I told you last time also.
Yes, sir.
So if you studied, just at first share your understanding towards this approach is one. Before that, I will share that classroom. Yes, are you getting my desktop? Yes, okay.
Yes, sir.
त्यो म्युट गरौँ है त, कतातिर आवाज आइरहेछ, म्युट गरौँ अथवा त्यो आवाजलाई बन्द गरौँ।
कसको आवाज आइरहेछ?
Okay, so that I talked about this book last time, that you have to go towards this critical discourse analysis, theory and disciplinarity, this book. So in the book, you get ideas about some of the approaches that we need to discuss here today. Okay, so now let's see something about your understanding on the historical approach of CDA. What you think yourself, in your own perspective, how do you define the historical approaches of CDA? Okay, please, let's see. Then we discuss.
Historical approach.
The approach is problem-oriented, not focused on a specific linguistic item.
Yes,
The
really.
approach is interdisciplinary. The approach is abductive.
Yes, yes, please go on.
Discuss historical approach, interrogate historical background and its original source in which discourse. Statements are embedded. CDA is not a homogeneous theory with a set or clear and defined. Many factors and numbers, different theories and
Zoom
जुममा आउनु त एउटै हो, मेल र त्यो लिंक एउटै हो हैन, त्यसमा क्लिक गर्न आइहाल्नु है त। ल ल
जुममा है भागीरथ,
go on please.
ल
Then others, Narendra.
Shobha.
Where is Shobha?
Shobha tala hunनुहुन्छ क्या?
Oh, she is here. Okay. Narendra, what's your understanding on the historical approach? Did you get any ideas? Please unmute yourself first. Bhagirath.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We are 6 people today. We are 5 people, yes, with me 6. Okay, so here we are talking about the historical approach of critical discourse analysis. At the first, just discuss, like Lokendra talked about, historical approach is highly related towards the problem oriented, and that means the historical approach of critical discourse analysis focus towards the historical events. So the first thing is that one, that we need to think about the historical events and how the events were managed in the past. and these events are managed in two ways. That is called the diachronic and synchronic. Yes, could you remember about diachronic and synchronic linguistics? I think you studied in terms of learning a linguistic approaches or linguistic parameters, diachronic linguistics and the synchronic linguistics. Could you remember? What is that?
No, sir.
Okay, so anyway, so diachronic linguistics and synchronic linguistics, to understand easily, just you have to take the example of period of time and point of time. Period of time is known as the diachronic. That means that goes through the time. Like, just for example, you want to see the educational development or education system in Nepal. You want to see from the historical perspectives, then you have to go back 2007 to 2020, for example. Likewise, you are just seeing the education system in Nepal from 1910 to 1910 to 2020. Yes, 1910 to 2020. It means how it is developed one, how it is going on. Just you have to see the periodically development of the educational system in Nepal. Likewise, what was the situation in 1910 when you were Jangabhadur Rana introduced the English education in Nepal? Then from that, how the English is developed. Then after in 1920, in 1930, in 1940, in 1950, then in 2000 and 2010, 2013, 2015, then 2020. What is the situation up to now? Whenever you go from the time through this time periodically, just like how the changes occur due to the different periods of the time, that is called diachronic study. So the historical approach especially focused towards the diachronic realizations. That means what? It sees the history through the time and how it is going on, how it is just we can, what different changes we can get. This is one part. Yes, so diachronic changes especially talk about the changes over the time by the periods, from that period to that, from that to that. We tell that. From 2010 to 2015, what was? Means we have to see these phases, this interval. So this is the first part of the historical approach that deals with the diachronic capacities, that deals with the diachronic levels. That is one part. Next thing is the synchronic. It also does the work in the synchronic levels. Synchronic means just to the point of time. What was the education system in Nepal in 2010? Just we can talk. At the time you talk about the educational system, what was there in the education system in 2010, or what is the education system in 1910? Just like what was the situation there when at the time you take some point of the time and you analyze on the basis of the time. That's why we have these two approaches in the historical approach. One is the synchronic, next one is the diachronic. Diachronic deals with the period of the time and synchronic deals with the point of the time. So with the different point of the time, synchronic. Yes, synchronic to the point of the time.
Synchronic deals with
point of the time. Point of time. This means there is some particular time. We see some of the changes on that particular time, not to the during of the time. Yes. Do you get my point?
Yes.
So yes, whenever we talk about during, that means, for example, what was the education system? How was the English education in Nepal in 1910 to 1930? This is what? This is the diachronic. Yes, because there we have to study from 1910 to 1930. That we have to deal with this period of time. Next thing is education system. We have to analyze the education system in Nepal in 2028. BS means what is the system in 2028? At the time, we have to see the detailed ideas of this particular time, and that's why synchronic variation deals with the particular time and diachronic variation deals with the period of the time. Understand this thing?
Period. Okay, sir. Okay.
Yes. So historical approach, especially the main base of this historical approach is that one. That's why the historical approach especially focuses towards the ideas or towards the problem. That's why it is called the problem oriented. In case of the time, in case of the events, or in case of the discourse variabilities, that was developed in the different sections of the times one. So this approach is developed, especially developed by ODAC. Yes, ODAC is the responsible person for defining this approach. So in the sense, we can say that historical approach analyze is historical approach. So what is the aim of the historical approach one? Before going towards the aim, what is historical approach one? Just to connect this diachronic and synchronic variabilities of that one. Like for the case of the historical approach, there was one of the school of thought that is called the Frankfurt School of the Thought. That was developed around 1913 in German with some scholars, and but that was highly influenced by Marxism. This Frankfurt School, like the historical approach, especially more developed from the Frankfurt School. The concept was the one. That Frankfurt School especially focused on what means there was some of the modification features of the Marxism. Like Marxism talks about the capitalism, Marxism talks about the economical values, but Frankfurt School discuss about the social value. That the difference is one. Like how we can see the different parameters in the society and how the society is going on, or what are the different, well, just we can see implementational rules and the theoretical rules, then how they are being applied in the society, and what influence we get from the historical background of this societal parameters one. Just for example, whenever we are just talking about the education system in Nepal, this federal education system in Nepal, then we have to go back and then how was they in the past? How was our past society? Then how was the attitude of the people in the past time? Then after we make some terms of analysis in the concerning times one, and that comes under the historical approach. That's why historical approach main aim is what are the main aims. This is the historical one. That means what focus towards the activities that were done in the past, and that is connected with the present also, because past activities were connected to the present, and that are also connected for the future planning as well. We find the three levels of the connection there as well. Like one level of connection is the past events, past time, past activities, and their connection to the present, and their connection to the future just means further planning one. Yes, that's why the historical approach focus, so it connects the ideas from past to the future also, we can say this thing. That's why historical approach is the approach that we develop. Just you can go towards what means like the research methodology. Yes, whenever you take the reference of the research methodology, just you can think about case study. Yes, whenever you want to do the case study, then where you go? For example, you are having case study of a student of your school. Then what you do at the first? Just please share me some of your ideas. Like you want to do case study of your any own students of your school. Then what you do at the first?
Yeah, if those kind of cases comes, then at first I must understand his or her family background, that in which background he is just growing up, and what are the factors that are affecting the children's learning and the schooling factors. So
Yes,
at first, at first I would understand his family situation and the condition and the social cultural background, that where is he living, and what are the motivation for the learning at home or in society.
yes,
And why
yes.
is he coming school? Is there any specific purpose, or just he is coming school or like everyone goes, or is there so at first I must understand the family situation and the environmental and the social factors and issues. And
Yes.
then after I should consider the psychological factors that of that student,
Yes.
that does he have any kind of psychological motives that are leading to that student to the any other ways, or that why is he just functioning that in that particular manner. And I must understand his even his medical report is also important.
Yes,
And
yes, really, really, really,
all the
yes.
factors those are related with the student. I must see the historical factors also, that
Yes.
how was his achievement level in previous classes and previous years. So I should consider all those things to do effective case study, or to come to the point to the conclusion. I must see the historical and the present, all the factors those are related with the student.
Yes. So any others? Bill, please just contribute. If you want to share, just please share your ideas.
So I think we have to research about interest and internal desires, and you know, and like what he wants to be in the future. So his future plans also we have to find out. I think.
Yes, yes, yes. Very good ideas. Then other?
In the case of case study, we select different categories students at first.
Yes.
Then we define different perspectives. We choose from different.
Yes. Go on, go on.
Narendra, your mic is off.
Yeah, yeah. Then other people can take the time if there is any problem. Yes, Sobaji, what's your thought about this? Just like if you are doing case study of any of the students, then what do you think at the first one? पार्वती तिम्रो 9 बजे लिंक पाउँछ रेडी भएर बस है नै ठीक छ उसो भने मेसेन्जरमा गफ गरौँ 9 बजे त्यसपछि कुरा गरौँ है त ल ल Okay, so it is the call from the first semester.
Yes.
Okay. Sobaji, what happens? She's muted. Please unmute her first. Yes.
Lokendra can share.
Lokendra, yes, please. Or Ram, do you have any ideas on this? Just like if you want to do the case study, what you focus more towards at the first?
Okay, sir. At first, we choose the different students of the class.
Yes.
And we get the introduction of this student.
Yes.
Family background.
Yes.
Is for our condition. And we research what are the problem of this student. And find out the.
Yes. Yes, yes, Ramji.
Like this, sir.
It's the same. Okay, Sobaji, do you have any more ideas on this? Is there any problem in her microphone?
Yeah, she was asking that he's not listening to us.
Oh, like she is not activated audio. There is one option, audio, activate audio. Then she need to click on that.
Yeah, I already asked her, but I don't know what happened.
Okay. Anyway, just whenever we are talking about the case study of the learners, we think about the family background or not. This means we think about the family background means we want to know about the history of his family and how the family is going on, what is the status of the family, what is the economic condition of the family, what is the educational background of the family. That means what means just we are exploring the ideas that come from his background one or not. And next thing, just take one very simple example. Whenever you go with the doctor, if you are sick, you go to the doctor. If the first doctor asks you, did you have such kinds of problem beforehand or not?
Yeah.
This is asked by
Yeah.
the doctor. This means what? Means that doctor wants to know the historical events. That's why the historical approach focuses on what means focuses towards the ideas that was in the past. Yes, that was in the past. Means what was our situation. Just like whenever we are doing something, the first thing we have to identify what was the situation. Yes, what was the situation at the first one. We need to consider what was the situation. That's why to analyze any context or to analyze any, if you get one text, just take one example. Suppose there is one text. Yes, there is one text. And there is one text, and whenever you want to go through this text, yes, if you want to go through this text, you want to analyze this text at the time, what you can do, especially what you can do is, just what may be the first item for the text means you read the text or not. You read the
Yes,
text
sir.
at first time. Yes. So after reading the text, then you make some terms of understanding to the text. You develop your understanding of that. Then after this, you connect this text. There you connect. There is the connection of this text. Connect the text to what means to the past. Yes, connect the text with the past. Like for example, the text is about likewise. Just take one example of this COVID-19. Okay, yes, just take one example of this COVID-19. For the case of the COVID-19, just like you can see how the historical approach developed for that one for the analysis, we can find out the different terms of analysis. What is it? And some people are telling this is one of the biological equipment. This is some of the people telling that this is created by human. And next thing, like yesterday, we can find one of the people in US got arrested, one of the doctor, one of the professor got arrested in US. So that was involvement in making of this coronavirus. That was means what? And next thing you can think about, there is one lady who wrote one novel in 2013 talking about some pneumonic disease in 2020. Or not? Pneumonic disease in 2020. That means what? That novel, that people's thought, or not? Likewise, the situation that took place, and we also see the situation of the world, just like situation of China, situation of USA, situation of European countries, or not? That we see these different terms of the situation there, and we analyze the context. This means what? Whenever we get the text here, our understanding must be there on what means. Whenever we find the text to analyze, we have to go back to the history. We need to go back to the background of the text, because the background of the text is known as the historical notion, how it is going on, how it is on these things. Just like we can find out such kinds of जस्तो हामीले कोभिड-19 को कुरा गर्दाखेरि योभन्दा पहिलाका चाहिँ न्युमेनिक डिजिजहरू के थिए त भन्ने कुरा नि हेर्छौं नि त त्यसलाई एनालाइज गर्दाखेरि हैन, because this is one kind of pneumonic disease because it is caused by the coldness, and we can find such kinds of common cold processes so that we try to explore what different kinds of diseases were there in the past related with that kinds of diseases. That's why historical approach especially tries to connect with the past activities, connect with the past events by which we can make the reference for the analysis of the present time. So historical approach especially focused towards the past events and past problems rather than to the other more issues that is in one of the considerations. Yes. So the next very important thing for the historical approach is, thus we talk about the changes that appear, especially whenever we are talking about whenever we are talking about the language change, whenever we are talking about the other features of the variations. Just you can take the one of the example of the language change. You can talk this dear one, just like how the language change appears. Yes, how the language change appears. भन्दा त्यो हामी के हेर्छौँ त भन्दा ल्याङ्ग्वेज चेन्ज हेर्नलाई त हामी हेर्छौँ त्यसको चाहिँ वाट वाज इन द पास्ट what is in the present condition. जस्तो भनौँ इङ्ग्लिस पहिला चाहिँ कसरी चाहिँ युज गरिन्थ्यो. yes we have just only 10 minutes. yes then after 10 minutes I will send you another link. okay, don't worry for that one. I will send you another link and we'll talk on that one. okay, so that one it is called what, especially when we were talking about the language change, what was the phonological system in the past, what was the grammatical system in the past, what about the old English, what about the middle English, what about this modern English that we talked on it. This means we take the reference of that different ideas on the basis of the historical events or historical context one. That's why historical approach focuses towards the analysis on the with the reference of the past events, past activities, and past issues. Just to bring here, whenever you are making the case study, you study the family background, you know the psychological factor, attitude of the learners. You could talk about the medical history. Just really how about the achievement. Just whenever you are thinking. Like next thing we can also talk, just take one example of scholarship. Yes, scholarship and connect that scholarship with the entrance examination. Yes, so this entrance examination is one of the event, or not? Then you are getting scholarship with the reference of the entrance. That means that event took place and you are getting scholarship with that one. If you are the topper one, you get the full scholarship. That means what? Means that was analyzed with the past event. Because entrance one the past event हो नि त. जब हामी पढिरहेछौँ entrance चाहिँ past event मा गयो र त्यसको आधारमा हामीले के पायौँ त scholarship पायौँ. Means we analyze that context. So the historical especially focus towards the past activities or towards the other things. Just you can connect this towards the historical research, what we do in the historical research. हैन जस्तो अब हिस्टोरिकल रिसर्चमा हामीले पास्ट टाइममा के थियो, पास्ट सिचुएसन के थियो, पास्ट इस्यु के थियो, त्यसलाई आधार बनाएर अब जब अहिलेको कन्टेक्स्टलाई एनालाइसिस गर्छौँ भने त्यो हिस्टोरिकल हुन्छ कि हैन. जस्तो अहिले तपाईले कुनै शिक्षाको नीति बनाउनु पर्यो भनेपछि शिक्षा नीति बनाउनलाई त हामीले 2028 सालमा के व्यवस्था थियो, 2049 मा के व्यवस्था थियो, 2055 मा आएर के व्यवस्था भयो, 2072 मा आएर के व्यवस्था भयो, त्यो व्यवस्था हेरेर 2077 मा बनाउँछौँ नि बल्ल हो. जब हामी त्यो ब्याकलाई हेरेर अनि अहिलेको कन्टेक्स्ट बनाउँछौँ त्यो भनेको हिस्टोरिकलको एउटा फिचर हो र हिस्टोरिकल एनालाइसिसले त्यो आइडियालाई फोकस गर्छ. भन्दा बित्तिकै हामीले के बुझ्नु पर्यो त भने we have to go back. Go back भनेको अर्थ के हो त भन्दा we need to know the background. पहिला चाहिँ ब्याकग्राउन्ड बनाउने भने हो के. जस्तो तपाईहरुले कुनै कुरा लेख्नु पर्यो, थेसिस लेख्नु पर्यो अथवा कुनै चाहिँ आर्टिकल लेख्नु पर्यो भने पहिला के बनाउनुहुन्छ, ब्याकग्राउन्ड बनाउनुहुन्छ नि त. पहिला त्यसको हिस्ट्री लेख्नुहुन्छ नि. विदाउट हिस्ट्री यु क्यानट गो ब्याक. जस्तो मानौ तपाईले चाहिँ टिचरको प्रोफेसनल डेभलपमेन्ट, इंग्लिश ल्याङ्ग्वेज टिचर्स प्रोफेसनल डेभलपमेन्ट तपाईले हेर्नु पर्यो भने तपाई के गर्नुहुन्छ, पहिला चाहिँ त्यसको प्र्याक्टिस कहाँबाट सुरु भयो त प्रोफेसनल डेभलपमेन्टको. जस्तो मानौ न पहिला 10 महिने तालिम थियो, पहिला 2 वर्ष तालिम थियो, 10 महिने तालिम थियो, त्यसपछि आएर टिपिडी भन्यो हैन. अब त्यो विभिन्न फेजलाई हेर्नुहुन्छ नि. अब त्यो टिपिडी भनेपछि अब अहिले सिपिडी को कुरा आइराछ हैन. अब सिपिडी ले टिपिडी लाई अब रिप्लेस गर्ला हैन. अब टिचर प्रोफेसनल डेभलपमेन्ट भन्यो, त्यसभन्दा पछि अब कन्टिन्युअस प्रोफेसनल डेभलपमेन्टको कुरा आइराछ अहिले हैन. र त्यसपछि अब अर्को कुरा हामी अनलाइन एजुकेसनको कुरा हेरौँ न. जस्तो पहिलाको फेज के थियो त, हामीले पहिला कसरी एप्लाई गर्थ्यौं. जस्तो मानौ पहिला हामीले चाहिँ मेसेन्जरबाट हामीले रन गर्यौं, गुगल ह्याङआउट युज गर्यौं. अब अहिले हामी जुम युज गर्दैछौँ, पछि अर्को युज गर्छौँ. त्यो भएर हामी के गर्छौँ त भन्दा व्हाट इज द पर्सपेक्टिभ्स अफ द युजिङ अफ अनलाइन सिस्टम. त्यसलाई हेर्दा सुरुमा हामीले हेर्ने भने के हो त ब्याकग्राउन्ड हो कि. र ब्याकग्राउन्ड फर्मेसन कहाँबाट हुन्छ, हिस्ट्रीबाट हुन्छ. जब हामीले हिस्टोरिकल कुराहरू थाहा पाएनौँ, त्यसको पास्ट इभेन्ट थाहा पाएनौँ भने हाम्रो अध्ययनको के हुन्छ, पृष्ठभूमि नै बन्दैन के. त्यसकारण अध्ययनको पृष्ठभूमि बनाउने भनेको अलि हो हिस्ट्रीले हो. द्याट्स वाइ the historical analysis or historical approach focus towards the background development roles. यसको मेन रोल भनेको कहाँ हुन्छ त भन्दा background development मा हुन्छ. It prepares for the background developments and we try to explore what was in the past. अब हामीले यसलाई चाहिँ त्यो त एउटा पर्सपेक्टिभ भयो त्यसलाई अब कहाँ लगेर जोड्नु पर्यो त भन्दा अब क्रिटिकल डिस्कोर्स एनालाइसिसमा त हामीले कुनै एउटा डिस्कोर्सलाई एनालाइज गर्ने हो नि त अब त्यो डिस्कोर्सलाई एनालाइज गर्दाखेरि हिस्टोरिकल प्याटर्नको रोल के हुन्छ त दिस इज द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेन्ट फ्याक्टर वाट इज द रोल अफ द हिस्टोरिकल प्याटर्न हैन जस्तो मानौ तपाईले एउटा कुनै टेक्स्टलाई चाहिँ एनालाइज गर्नु पर्यो फ्रम द हिस्टोरिकल पर्सपेक्टिभ्स such as just the speech of any one of the political leaders एउटा कुनै पोलिटिकल लिडरको स्पिचलाई तपाईले चाहिँ एनालाइज गर्नु पर्यो भने उले त्यो चुनाव लड्ने बेलाको घोषणा पत्रमा के राखेको थियो भन्ने कुरा हेर्नुहुन्छ नि त हैन त्यो घोषणा पत्रमा के राखेको थियो भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ हाम्रो हिस्टोरिकल इभेन्ट भयो नि त उले अहिले के भनिरहेछ र उसको घोषणा पत्रमा के थियो त त्यसलाई हामीले के गर्छौं इन्टरकनेक्सन गर्छौं के त्यसकारण प्रेजेन्ट कनेक्सन भयो नि त त्यो that's why that is connected with the present activities but we see the past actions or the past events what was connected with their own त्योसँग रिलेटेड पास्ट कुराहरुलाई हामीले एनालाइसिस गर्छौं जस्तो भनौं अघिकै एक्जाम्पल लियौं कुनै एउटा पोलिटिकल लिडरको तपाई भाषण सुनिरहनु भएको छ त्यो भाषण सुनिरहेको बेलामा घोषणा पत्रमा यो भनेको थियो तर अहिले चाहिँ यसले यो भनिरहेछ हैन उले चाहिँ यति वर्षमा यो गर्छु भनेर भनिरहेको थियो चुनावको बेला त हामीलाई त्यो भन्यो तर अहिले चुनाव भएको 2 वर्ष 3 वर्ष भइसक्यो तर अहिले यो भन्दै छ भने त्यो तपाई जब त्यो एनालाइसिसको त्यो फ्रेमवर्क त्यहाँ माइन्डमा बनाउनुहुन्छ नि त्यो केबाट गाइडेड हुन्छ त भन्दा दैट इज गाइडेड बाइ द हिस्टोरिकल एप्रोच त्यो चाहिँ हिस्टोरिकल एप्रोचबाट गाइडेड भएको हुन्छ सो बाइ दिस रेफरेन्स वी क्यान से दैट हिस्टोरिकल एप्रोच इज to identify the background information that we build for the analysis of the text. Text analysis को background बनाउनको लागि जो एनालाइसिस हामीले गर्छौं त्यो एनालाइसिस भनेको के हो त हिस्टोरिकल एनालाइसिस हो भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ that we have to think one. Okay, so we have just 3 minutes for this time है अब हामीसँग 3 मिनेट बाँकी छ 3 मिनेट भन्दा पछि म अर्को लिंक पठाउँछु त्यसलाई we discuss more again on that one. You have 3 minutes man just if you want to share something yes if you want to share something please just share something then after this I will send you another link yes I'll send you another link in your messenger group then after you could connect right ल के शेयर गर्नुस् त्यसपछि हामी अर्को लिंकमा जाउँला अब हामीसँग जम्मा 2 मिनेट बाँकी छ के छ ल नरेनजी भन्नुस् त नरेनजी गाउँतिरै हो
यस सर गाउँतिरै
ए ल ठीक छ राम्रो बारी राम्रो घर देखिया छ के हैन ल ठीक छ ल यो हिस्टोरिकल एनालाइसिसमा तपाईको अन्डरस्ट्यान्डिङ के भयो त अलिकति एक्सप्रेस गर्नु न 2 मिनेटमा
सर हिस्टोरिकल एप्रोच is a oldest approach which was conducting in many years ago. Historical approach much popular in the period of 19th century.
Yes.
This approach is also prevailing in the present time also. This message.
Okay, thank you. ल ठीक छ अब म तपाईलाई अर्को लिंक पठाएँ है
Yes sir.
Okay sir.
Okay.